AI-enabled, or some version of it, may be the laziest phrase in B2B marketing right now. It seems that everybody's using it. AI-enabled and revenue ops agents for B2B revenue teams. AI-driven automated processing and fraud detection. AI-powered workflows for customer tech support. AI-powered marketing, predictive analytics, and automated personalization. AI-assisted sales enablement, optimizing content based on deal stage. AI-enabled automated marketing workflows. I mean, it's everywhere. Now, you might think that it is some of the legacy companies that are potentializing their AI capabilities. But according to MMC Ventures, 40% of the companies labeled as an AI startup do not use AI in any meaningful way. It's a bit like Schrödinger's cat. Now, Austrian physicist Erwin Schrödinger was having a conversation with Albert Einstein, as you do. He developed a thought experiment to highlight their issues with Bohr and Heisenberg's views on quantum superposition. Now, I'm sure you've had this conversation down the pub. The marketing version of this is you put a cat in a box, humanely. Once the box is sealed, you don't know the status of the cat. The cat is either alive or the cat is dead. Without any further information, both are true. You won't know for sure until you open the box. Now, 4 in 10 AI-enabled companies don't actually rely on AI. Then what does AI mean on the product page? Without further information, all you know is the product is AI-enabled and it is not AI-enabled. Rather, maybe it is or maybe it isn't. And you will not know until you open the box. Fortunately, more often than not, with AI, the box is black, so opening it will not bring clarity. We must come up with a different way to prove the status of this particular cat. Let's skip to the point. In a lot of ways, you cannot blame the firms that potentialize their AI enablement. At the very least, AI has become a procurement accelerant. People, marketers especially, want to work with the latest technology. And I would argue it's more than a procurement accelerant. I would say that not having AI is a barrier to getting in on an RFP. AI has been a must-have in MarTech since late 2024. And what's more, AI is increasingly being used by procurement departments. So unlike most marketing technology, procurement is not just taking a steer from the user, they can also drive the conversations. Now, once a vendor has gotten over the AI barrier and is now involved in the pitch process, they can charge a premium. This is called the AI tax by CFOs and procurement leaders. And this tax can be as much as 33%. Now, the justification for this premium is around the extra development and the well-known costs of training and running LLMs. And this increase in price is almost always offset by a combination of productivity gains and cost savings in other areas. In other words, job cuts. Not only are we seeing price inflation, we are also seeing AI-enabled feature inflation. Seemingly every roadmap has an AI tab. Now, this could be a chicken and egg scenario. If purchasers are requiring AI features to get into the consideration set, then vendors must be showing that they are working on AI, whether they are or not. On the other hand, if AI features drive more sales at higher prices, then the vendors have a huge incentive to be building features that at least look like AI. Some firms selling AI-enabled systems have been so bold as to use this as an excuse to change from a usage-based pricing model to ones that are more based on value. Now, unfortunately, in these early days of AI adoption, businesses are really struggling to measure AI value creation. A 2025 Boston Consulting Group study showed that only 5% of companies are seeing measurable returns like revenue growth and cost savings. At the same time, 55 to 60% of CEOs report zero tangible benefits from AI implementations. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not an anti-AI rant. I was an early adopter and use AI in a lot of different ways every day. More about that in a later episode. I think the basic rule of thumb for vendors should be if there is AI used in your product and you can prove it, then you should be shouting it from the rooftops. Now, if what you currently offer is a small incremental change, still share it proudly, but also be prepared to answer questions on your roadmap. and any sales claims that you're making. Even a small incremental use of AI can dramatically improve routing, prediction, and detection engines. Similarly, I am not opposed to AI enabled as a buzzword. When used properly, it slots perfectly into my useful shorthand category. In fact, to use anything else would probably result in filling a buzzword bingo card in one sentence. Always entertaining, but never a good idea. This is not usually a predictions podcast, but I suspect there will be an AI backlash in 2026. Well, maybe backlash is too strong a word. Based on the stats, businesses are not seeing the promises that were sold when the AI is delivered. Buyers are going to want to see real case studies relevant to their situations as proof points. Where the term backlash is totally appropriate, though, is on the regulatory and legal front. There have been several cases addressing AI washing on both sides of the Atlantic. Now, AI washing is a term coined by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission in 2024. The SEC applies it to situations where AI is used as a marketing adjective, not a technical description, exaggerating intelligence, obscuring limits, and substituting hype for proof. The SEC was specifically looking at misleading statements in company filings, but this notion has been picked up in the UK as well by the Advertising Standards Authority. The ASA has examined AI as a marketing term in advertising, noting that its frequent use as a description is driving the need for clarity and substantiation. In other words, AI is becoming more of a descriptor than a capability. Now let's face it, when regulators invent a term for bad behavior, that party is already over. So how do we find out if the cat is alive and if there is AI in the black box? Treat the claim AI enabled as a hypothesis and not a fact. This should be true of any marketing and sales claims, but in this case, there are 7 questions you need to ask. Number 1, what part or parts of the product actually use AI? Number 2, what model does it currently use and what are your rules for switching models? Number 3, what data is the model using? Is it using public training data, your proprietary training data, our training data, and does it rely on runtime data? Number 4, how is the model optimized? Accuracy versus user satisfaction drive very different model hallucination behaviors. Number 5, what non-AI processing did it replace and what was the baseline? Number 6, what KPIs are you using to measure uplift? And finally, number 7, where does it fail? For example, are there certain edge cases that will not work or that you've not yet tried? And how do you manage this? If a vendor cannot or will not give you this information, the question you need to ask yourself is not whether the cat is dead or alive, but is there even a cat? For vendors, being AI enabled feels like table stakes. If your platform does not include some sort of AI decision-making, then you will not get in on that RFP and you will have no chance of making the sale. Of course, if you say your platform is AI enabled, the downside of being caught out is small and the upside of revenue gains is real. You might even be able to modify your entire pricing structure to get more revenue with less accountability. The problem is that the game is up. Buyers are increasingly skeptical of AI claims. CEOs are increasingly fed up with projects that promise to deliver productivity gains, increase revenue, and save money while delivering none of those. And the regulators are catching on to this and even coined the term AI washing to describe it. Until proven otherwise, AI enabled is not a feature, it's a claim. Remember, the vendor may be selling the AI dream, but it could be you buying the very expensive empty black box. Or, put another way, sign the contract or the cat gets it. So I'd love to know your take. Feel free to DM me or like and leave a comment below. Encouragement, advice, and topic ideas are always welcome. And if you like this episode, follow and share. Join me next time when I'll cut through more B2B buzzword BS. Until then, stay safe, make good choices, and keep skipping to the point.